Hey class, I am Professor Richard Olds. I am really excited to be starting this class. I went to HBU for my master's degree, what I suppose the school formerly known as HBU. That's where I got my master's in theological studies, and then I ended up getting a master's in biblical languages as well. So I really enjoy an academic study of the Bible. I really enjoy languages and digging into that part of Scripture. And so I was really excited this last summer whenever the opportunity presented itself for me to be able to teach a few classes this semester. So I teach another in-person Intro to Bible class. For those of you who are freshmen, which is probably most of you, I also teach an in-person FYS class. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's freshman year seminar. So, it teaches you some basics about college life and how to study and things like that. And on top of that, I'm also the recruiter for the School of Christian Thought. So I reach out to our new applicants and just try to tell them a little bit about the program. So if any of y'all are interested in getting a degree in biblical studies or theological studies or Christian ministry or anything like that, I would be more than happy to talk to you about the details of what that could look like and help figure out if that's the right decision for you. As you might be able to tell, my camera sometimes doesn't really like focusing. So if this is making you dizzy, feel free to I don't know, minimize this and just listen to the sound. But I wanted to just introduce myself, tell you all a little bit about who I am, as well as introduce the class to y'all. I'm assuming that most people in here are freshmen, so this may even be one of your very first classes, college classes you've ever taken. If so, welcome to college. We're really excited to have you. So, like I said, I studied theology and biblical languages for my master's program. For my undergraduate, I went to Stephen F. Austin, which is in Nacogdoches, Texas, and I studied world religions there. So not just Christianity or the Bible, but it was a comparative religious studies degree. So I was really excited about that. I loved it a lot. It was a lot of fun. And then came to Houston to pastor a church, which I did for a few years until 2020 resulted in us having to close the doors of our church permanently. I now go to a church in Sugar Land called the Vineyard Church of Sugar Land and Stafford, and where my wife is the youth pastor there, and I work. I help oversee the small groups ministry for our church. I'm not on pastoral ministry there, but do help out with some of that stuff. So my hope is to eventually one day go get my PhD. I'm hopeful that can happen sooner rather than later. Lots of logistics to do there, but I love working in church ministry, and I love what I'm doing right now. Before I worked in ministry, or I suppose really while I worked in ministry, I also worked in coffee for several years, which it was a lot more than just a part-time gig. It was a profession for me. I loved it so much. I helped train all of our new baristas and how to taste the coffee and how to dial in and how to also invite our customers into the coffee drinking experience, which for a lot of people that can be really intimidating. It seems like something that only the really high class can do or something, but coffee is the Epicurean dish of very poor people, which is why I got so into it. So like I said, this course is, I'm teaching an in-person section of it, and I've really been drawn to biblical studies as a hobby. It's something that I found a lot of love for in college. So like I said, I studied world religion whenever I was in college. I was pretty sure that I wanted to go into some sort of pastoral ministry, but Stephen F. Austin is a state school, so they don't have like a ministry or theology degree. So I did the best that I could. And while I was in it, I started to learn, some of the stuff that maybe they don't teach you in Sunday school or in sermons about the Bible. And also I had professors who were fairly critical of the Bible and Christianity, and not necessarily that they were just trying to tear it down, but they weren't believers themselves. And so they felt every freedom to tear down the veracity of the Bible or anything like that. And it caused a lot of question and doubt in my life. And it was actually through this time that I really began to have a lot of crisis in my faith and not really sure if I still believed anymore. But in the end, it was actually an academic study of the Bible that helped me to get to a place now where I'm very happily a follower of Jesus. And so I think that it's important that we come to the Bible with an open hand. We are willing to let it say whatever it wants to say. And we don't come to it and say, I need for it to say exactly what my pastor says that it says, or I need for it to say that, I don't know, that exactly this thing happened in a historical way or something like that. I love studying the Bible and just getting to say, well, what do the authors intend for it to mean? And that's really the goal of this class, is to not ask the question, what are all the deep, what are the deepest parts of theological understanding that we can get from the Bible, but to say, what's the big picture here? Whenever the people who created the Bible created it, what were they trying to communicate? What did they want to say? This is called a meta-narrative. A big word, but it just means the big story, right? What's the big story? I think oftentimes, we have all these different books, right? For you Spanish speakers in there, the Spanish word for library is biblioteca. That's because so they come, biblioteca and Bible, they come from the same root Greek word, which just means a book. But the idea there is that the Bible is not just a single book. It's a library of books that are all put together. But what happens then is people look at that and think of it as this very disconnected story. It's not really telling one thing. It's just kind of a collection of these myths and stories that the Jews used to tell themselves. And then, this particular sect of Jews that later became called Christians would tell themselves. But I'm hearing, the Drama of Scripture book by Bartholomew and Goheen. They're here to help you see that the Bible is telling one single story from start to finish, and it's a story of creation, fall, and redemption of humanity. It starts in Genesis, goes all the way through to Revelation, and so. What are we going to do in this class? I hope that you know that. Anyway, I'll just finish my introduction by saying, if y'all have any extra questions about the Bible, I'm not going to, be grading y'all on whether or not you're reaching out to me with deep questions or something like that. I hope that you know that. But if you do have any extra questions, I love talking about this stuff. I love discussing it. And so I would be more than happy to engage in whatever sorts of conversations you're wanting to have. So let's do this. Let's go to Blackboard now. And let me help you get oriented a little bit, because it can be somewhat difficult. So here we go. This is whenever you click on the course in Blackboard, this is what you should see. The only difference is that by the time you're seeing this, this will be replaced with this actual video. So sorry, this is coming in a little bit late. I hope to maybe be a little bit better about that in the future. But there's some important stuff here about the course, and then so this is important right here. It shows you how exactly to. Oh, I don't have access to it, but it shows you how exactly to turn in your assignments and what Safe Assign is. And anyway, I just want to take a second right now to emphasize, because I have some other freshmen who don't seem to understand what plagiarism is. If something is not your idea and you don't give the person who had that idea credit, it is plagiarism, period. If you change up the wording a little bit, but you're using basically their idea, then that is plagiarism. If you read something that they wrote and then you later go and you reformulate that with your own thoughts, that is not plagiarism. Now, you might still choose to cite this person that you read that helped you create this idea, but if it's your own idea and your own unique wording, then it's not plagiarism. I only say all that to say, we do have these things in a place that will catch you if you are plagiarizing, and that gets taken pretty seriously at the university level. So I hope that y'all won't play around with that. And then about formatting. In high school, you probably are familiar with Chicago. I know that I used MLA a lot whenever I was in high school, but other people use Chicago. What we use is basically the same thing as Chicago with some slight variations that helps with biblical studies, so citing the Bible and things like that. But what you'll do, so this is the Start Here page. You can see that there. Whenever I post announcements, they'll be in here. But where you really want to go is the course content. You can look at the syllabus here and the schedule. This breaks it down by weeks and shows you what the entire schedule of the class is going to be at. Again, you can see all of that here in the syllabus, and the syllabus has some important stuff again about academic integrity, how to turn in assignments, and accommodations, reaching out for accommodations, things like that. But if you're just looking for what the course is going to be going over, probably the best thing to do is just look at these modules. So week 1 starts, so today is the 23rd. So week 1 starts today, and we'll go until next Sunday. But then week 2 will start on that following Monday, which is going to be the 31st of October. And then it will go through Sunday. So this is the only one that includes 2 Sundays in it, which is important whenever we get into it, because so you'll have 2 different sections in each one of them. What am I supposed to be reading and what am I supposed to be studying? So first we'll look at the reading stuff. Everybody should have a copy of the Drama of Scripture. It is available on ebook if you don't have it yet. I think it's a great book. It's really, really helpful, and you're going to need it for this class. But if you're worried about not being able to get it in time, it is available on ebook. I, of course, left my copy in my office, so I don't have a copy to show y'all. But if you are confused and not sure if it's the right book, feel free to reach out to me. The other book is this one right here, The Essential Bible Companion. It's written by a couple guys. The one at the beginning, a man named John Walton, is somebody who I really, really look up to. He's written some really great stuff on biblical interpretation. The great thing about this book is, so what it is just like a 2-page summary of every book of the Bible. Some of them are even, combined. So like Ezra, Nehemiah sort of stuff are combined into one. And so it's great. So whenever it says to read the section for Matthew, it's literally just 2 pages. Not a lot to read there, a lot of pictures, so perfect for people like me who read slowly. The other thing you're going to need is a Holy Bible. The Holy Bible. Let me show y'all one tool that I like to use a lot, netbible.org. So NetBible, it's using the NET translation, which is so it's not the most readable translation, but it's a fine one. And what it does is you can pick your book here, exactly where you want to read. It does have a couple other translations for you to use. But I like the NET just fine. And then it's got all these like notes here. So the notes will oftentimes tell you about like why they translated this word a particular way. And it corresponds to over here. So, whenever you click on number 29, this will scroll down for you and it'll give you maps, even stuff like that. Probably a lot of this stuff is not going to be interesting to you, but for any of y'all that might be interested in it. Another thing that it does is it gives you some original language stuff. So if any of y'all are interested in the Greek and Hebrew, check it out. If whenever I, highlight over these words, it highlights the same word that it's being translated. Oh, it's because I'm in one. That's what was happening there. So check it out. And so we can see if I'm curious where, how do you say Zerubbabel in Greek? Then it's got it over there. So I really like this. Another couple of options are the Step Bible, which has a lot of really cool features in it too, and has a few additional translations for people who don't want to use the ones on the NET Bible. And then on top of that would be, there's a couple others like Blue Letter Bible, and then Bible Hub and stuff like that. So if any of y'all don't have a physical copy, that's fine. You can use that. So it'll tell you what to read. And then it'll give you some videos to watch. This is where a lot of your instruction will come from. And then what you'll do is, if you go back, so let's go to the activities and assessment. So I must have clicked on week 2 on accident. There we go. So we can see, so for this week, so on all of these, it'll just say Sunday of module week 1, Thursday of module week 1, all those sorts of things. So in all of them except for this one, Sunday means the last Sunday of the week. So you're not turning it in the first Sunday of week 1 or week 2, but you're turning it in the last Sunday of week 2, which those are all going to be these Bible reading reviews and quizzes and any other big assignments like that. This week is the only exception where we have an introduction discussion board for y'all to work on. Just give me some basic information about yourself, families, your degrees that you're pursuing, anything that you might be passionate about, and give us a little picture of yourself too. That way we can feel like we are, getting to know one another. So try to get this done as soon as possible. Obviously, I'm posting this video on Sunday, so I know that some of y'all won't be able to get this in by Sunday, but that's fine. Just get it in, within the next couple of days, so that we can know one another, and so that you can go ahead and get on to the other parts of your of the course. There will be a discussion due every single week. These discussions will have specific prompts, and you'll have all the information every time you go, but you get right there, 200 to 300 words. It'll tell you. I will say, if you just copy and paste like 10 verses out of Genesis 1, in order to meet your 200, 300 word length, I'm smart enough to catch on to stuff like that. So you can accidentally write 200 words. It's not very long. Just give me some thoughts. And then you have to reply to at least 2 of your classmates. And those replies have to be 150 to 200 words. You submit your initial threads by Thursday, so that way your classmates and you have the ability to respond to a couple of others, and you have the time to respond to a couple others by Sunday so again, that's not today. Today is the 23rd, but next Sunday, the 30th, on this one, and then I'll keep going. Bible reading review will be due. Those will be due on Sundays. These are 250 to 300 words, and it's got all the prompts here. You got to answer these 5 questions. I guess this is important to add here because I know how you freshmen are. Do not include the questions in your word count. So don't just copy and paste these and be like, hey, look, I already got, what is that? Probably 70 words. Anyway. And then there's going to be a quiz. The quizzes have to be taken on Blackboard. They are timed 15 minutes, but this is important to see here. You may not save the quiz and return to it later and complete it. Again, we know how y'all are. You're going to open it up, look at all the questions, then come back later, but not this one. You got 15 minutes to complete it. There's no closing it. Now, I know you're supposed to have to use the Respondus lockdown browser. I'm not sure if it's going to lock you in on that one, if it's going to let you take it without using the Respondus browser. So you might want to make sure that you have that downloaded as well. So there's going to be these 3 assignments too every single week. And they're all going to be over the stuff in your reading and study. So read your drama of scripture, read the stuff from the Essential Bible Companion, read the parts of the Bible that it's asking you to read, and watch these videos. and you will be good. I knew I was going to do that. So again, course content. This is where you find everything. And just like in that last one, you see we got a discussion board, Bible reading review, and quiz number 2. And it tells you when all those things are due. If you have any questions about that, though, I know that some of this stuff can be confusing. Just please let me know. You can also go straight to the discussion board here. So here, the discussion board, we see like introduction. So, and it even gives you, again, all the instructions here on when to put your initial post and when to have your 2 replies in by. I guess final thoughts here. I just want to say that I, again, spent a lot of time studying world religions and various, here, I'll quit sharing. World religions and various worldviews. And so I want to emphasize that it is very important that we all realize that not everybody in this class will be a Christian. And we are to respect everybody's opinions and views. And that goes both ways. So if somebody comes in and says that they don't like the Bible, they think that it's full of hatred and bigotry and shouldn't be trusted, that it's not trustworthy, you are welcome to respond to them and to tell them why you disagree, but we are to be respectful as we do that. But on the same token, if somebody is in the discussion post talking about how much they love the Bible and how much it means to them, you are welcome to tell them why you disagree and tell them that that's not the same thing that you believe, but you are to be respectful and we are to love one another and to make sure that everyone feels safe to share as they want to share in these discussion posts. I'll be doing my best to respond to as many people as possible. Of course, I'm not going to be able to respond to everyone's every single week, but I will absolutely be reading everyone's every single week because I got to grade y'all. And so if you have questions about your grades, about the assignments, about anything else coming up, and again, if you have just extra questions about the Bible or about faith and Christianity, I would be more than happy to do whatever I can to assist y'all and to be on y'all's team and to make sure that everyone walks out of this class with an A. Again, sorry for the slight delay on getting this video to y'all. But I'm really excited to start reading what everyone has to say. Yeah, I will, I guess, see y'all around in the metaverse or whatever this is. Bye, y'all.